Hi, and welcome to this brief video, brief recording, brief introduction presentation of a few of the key things that we're going to cover to help you get the most out of attending your 90-day planning day. I've done this because we have people that attend time after time. We've got some people you'll meet in the room, some people you may even be one of those already, and you will meet people that have been to 90-day planning day lots of times. And so this saves me going through some of the key principles, but also one or two bits of terminology that are perhaps in the workbooks or that comes up for discussion during the 90-day, and just allows us or you to be aware of it before coming the day. So it's just a little bit of it's not even pre-study, is it? I wanted to take you, those of you that have worked with us before will have seen this. If you're attending for the first time, this is what I call a key universal principle that's going to help you in your business, not just for the 90-day planning day. And I call this the line of choice, and I call it about playing above the line. You will know there's a lot of people out there that when they're not getting the results they want, they will blame other people and other things. They will make excuses for why they haven't done stuff, why they haven't achieved things in the time they wanted to. And probably the most scary is some people are in denial that they've either not performing or they haven't got a problem or a challenge. And I always say to my coaching clients, you know, if you're going to play below that line in blame, excuse, denial, you've made your bed, you lie on it. I can't really help people that are really coming from a point of blame or excuses. And by the way, reasons is just another word for excuses. What I ask everybody to do, and what I ask you to do, is to notice and realize that actually we're responsible for all our results in our life. Sometimes doesn't seem that easy, but the buck stops ultimately with us. So we have to take ownership of the results we want. We have to take ownership of our life, our businesses, our relationships. And a big thing for human beings is to be held accountable. I think human beings ultimately don't readily often like to be held accountable, because if we ask someone to hold us to account for what we say we're going to do, heck, it means we've got to go and do it. And human psychology is it's easier not to. And we need to hold people responsible around us for doing what they've said they're going to do, for agreeing what we've got to do. This is our line of choice. We need to play above the line and take ownership of our lives, hold ourselves and other people around us accountable, and have other people holding us accountable for what we want to achieve, if we're serious and committed to achieving more and getting better results. So we need to play above this line. We need to own our own ship. That's why it's OAR. We can paddle our own ship. Our destiny is down to us. I appreciate it's always easy said than done. I also appreciate that we've had a lifetime of maybe dipping below the line, maybe being in environments where people are below the line. So we're not perfect. We can dip below the line. It's about noticing when we are and asking ourselves, what do we need to do to get back above that line and take ownership for what we need to do? So I'll ask you to play above the line with us, but also notice where you can be playing above the line more when you're back in your businesses and your lives. And so that's key principle number one, if you like. The second thing I wanted to mention, which is, I think, vitally important, I also think it's the death knell to human development, personal and business development. And it's this slide that I call the I know slide. Underneath that red symbol, it says I know. You will have met people, and you will know people out there that when you try and explain something, you get the sort of response of, yeah, I know, usually followed by but. And the moment you say, it's usually, I know, but that wouldn't work for me. Yeah, I know, but it's all right for you. Yeah, I know, but we're different in this industry, or we're different in this geography. Or, I know, but we tried it once, but it didn't work. Because when you then ask people, well, is it possible that it can work? Are there other people in the business, in the industry, in the world that have made it work? The answer is invariably yes. So it's not that it can't work, it's just that you haven't found a way to make it work. And the challenge is when we say, I know something won't work, and we shut down our minds to finding a way. It's an opinion, and I appreciate that. And it's an opinion based on your life, your experience, your learning, your environment, your beliefs. What I want to urge you to do is, and this workshop, 90-day planning day and other things, there will be things in that room, there will be things we go through, there might be things you read, there might be people around you that are doing something or saying something that sort of challenges your thoughts and the way you've done things in the past, and that's a great thing. It's at that point that rather than say, yeah, I know, but can't work for me, or I'm not as good at sales, or whatever the reason is, I urge you just to catch yourself and keep an open mind. And you'll hear me say, if you level a statement at me, you'll hear me say, that's interesting. And the question after is usually then, how can I make it work? How could I make it fit? How can we achieve that? Because by asking that open question, it leaves my mind open to finding a way, and it's usually that drive home down the motorway where I get, I call it that blinding flash of the obvious. It goes, actually, they had a point. If I did it in yellow, I could make more money or get it done better or quicker. So it's a hook. It's a way to help us remember to keep an open mind, to find a way. Because I believe most things are possible. If we believe it's possible, then it's just a case of finding one. So I'm going to ask you to suspend the I know and tell yourself that things are interesting, and ask yourself, how can you make them work? And those are the two sort of key generalized principles. A couple of things that you're going to come across in the workbooks, and you'll hear us refer to, is a thing called the default diary. I'll just put up a spreadsheet now. You should be able to see an example of one I use when I set up my business. A default diary is really a way of keeping a diary where you put things in that will happen by default. It's also a way of becoming more efficient by working to a diary. Another way to look at this is it's like a school timetable. And if you look at this, you'll see that I've separated different tasks. So a couple of things about the default diary. First of all, it's important to create one. What's more important is then to stick to it. So first of all, I would default the things that I'm going to do every day. So you'll see at 8 o'clock on Monday, emails and to-do lists. So every Monday at 8 o'clock, that's what I do. I've got coaching and conference calls on Tuesday. My coaching calls with my clients are defaulted. So every Tuesday at 9 o'clock, I have a coaching call with one of my clients. And what that means by default is that if we ever have to change one of those dates because a priority has occurred, then if we don't speak to each other after that, we know that the following week it goes back to the default setting, and I know at 9 o'clock Ian's going to call me. So you can default out the things you know you need to do every day and every week and every month. You can have a monthly default diary. I have my things like pay my credit card every month. Every quarter we have the VAT payment defaulted into our diary. So what do you need to default out first of all? And of course there will be things that will change. A couple of important things. One is to break up the tasks where you certainly need different focuses or different mindsets, if you like. You'll see that I've split up sales and marketing. So on a Monday from 9 o'clock till 1 o'clock, I'm doing sales calls. I'm ringing people. I'm in the stage where I'm talking to them about sales. And almost at 1 o'clock, ding, ding, the bell goes, I change lesson and I go into marketing. Because for me to sit down and write emails or adverts or letters, marketing pieces, I've got to be in a different point of focus than being on the phone talking to someone. It is a different mindset. And I learned that very early on. And also my coaching calls, a very, very different mindset for me, coaching a client and working with a client compared to being in sales mode, if you like. So I split up the tasks where my mindset or my focus needs to be different. And I make it rigid so that come 1 o'clock, I stop and move on to the next task. Now, to break up the state, in the past, I've sort of walked out the office, got a cup of tea for 5 minutes, or walked around the driveway, out the front door, into the back door, to sort of change the lesson, if you like. So it's worth thinking about what are the different tasks. And so I can plan out my diary, my week. And then at the end of each day, I'll review what I've done, praise myself for what I have done, but then also focus on what exactly am I going to do the following day. And if I've got tasks like putting this together for you guys, I slotted some time out in my diary for the week to get it done. So I will slot stuff in for the following week. So on a Friday, I might take slightly longer to plan out my following week. If I've got a presentation to do, I'll slot time out in my diary to get it done. Otherwise, it's easy not to. So if you're not using a default diary, I would certainly think about how you can set one up and start to use it. There are so many times when I have clients that talk to me about being in overwhelm, there's so much to do, they feel like they're behind, they feel like they're drowning and stuff. I go, how's your default diary? And they go, I haven't really been using it for the last few weeks. So there's the challenge that I urge you to do. So that's one thing you're going to notice. And obviously, if there's any questions around this, you can ask us and we can help you in the day on 90-day planning. And then the final thing I wanted to show you is we talk about KPIs, key performance indicators, measurements in your business. There's lots of great sayings around if you don't measure something, you can't improve it. I have a saying that says, my numbers drive my activity. And I put here a dashboard. It was just an example of something I worked with a client who ran a small laundry business. Imagine a dashboard on a car. I need to see the speed I'm going, but maybe also the rev counter and also the fuel gauge. And those are the key performance indicators. The fuel gauge is dropping a bit low. I might drill down into the onboard computer and see how many gallons have I got left. What's my average mileage per gallon? How many miles till empty? So I might want further information. But the KPIs are the key things. What do you need to measure in your business? This is just a simple spreadsheet. You'll see we measured the number of leads you would generate each week, the number of new sales, the average sale, key financials, the number of orders, how much cash in the bank, how much cash in hand, because she would pay people out of the till as well. Operations, how many van deliveries, how many shop collections, because the more information we got, the more we could decide what we needed to do. You need to decide what are your key numbers that you need to be measuring. So I work with a client and we literally, he goes out and quotes on jobs as a builder. And we literally just focus in every week on how many people have asked you to go to site to quote. So how many site visits you've got to do. How many quotes on your desk still to do. How many quotes are out there that you've got to follow up. And how many new orders this week have you had. Because at one point we looked at where's the bottleneck? Why are things busy? Why do you feel you're behind? Why are you stuck getting a little bit out of control? And we looked through and the number of quotes out and the number of weeks work had remained sort of static. It was the same sort of number week on week, but the number of quotes to follow up had gone up, and it was clear that they weren't following up the quotes. And we can understand why. Well, we're busy. It's also not the most favorite part of the job, and it's easier to focus on new work coming in. So we just leveraged that out and gave it to a telemarketing person to follow up quotes, which takes it off his lap, but also gets it done more quicker and gets the work done. So by looking at the numbers, it will give you all sorts of questions and all sorts of answers, and it will dictate what you know you need to be doing each week, each month, each quarter. So you may need to look at setting up some sort of reporting, some sort of dashboard, some sort of KPIs. So that was an example of that. And again, any questions around this, we can work with you on the day. So I wanted to show you those key principles and those things that you may see in the manuals, or some terminology that you may come across on the day. I'm looking forward to seeing you at 90-day planning day. You can revisit these before each one. You can revisit these as often as you like. Those of you that have been here before, we're looking forward to seeing you again. Those of you that it's the first time, I'm looking forward to participating and joining in with you, because I know some of the huge value that attendees and clients have got from coming to this 90-day planning day. It's setting you apart as being top achievers. Reports say that on average, most small business owners, or business owners of small businesses in the UK, take on average 2 days a year to plan and work on their business. You come to 90-day planning day once a quarter, you're doubling that national average. You're also putting yourself in an environment, in a room full of other focused business people who have the same issues, same challenges, and working on the same sort of goals as you will be. So you're in a phenomenal environment for it. I'm looking forward to seeing you and working with you very soon.